The F-22 Raptor is one of the deadliest air superiority fighters ever built, but what if it could also carry the bomb load of a strike aircraft and hit targets over 1,000 miles away? Before we dive into this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe because only 9% of you guys are actually subscribed, and I know that's an error on your guys' end, and you meant to have that way higher. It's okay, I'll give you time to fix your mistake. Have you fixed it yet? Hopefully you have. In this video, we're going to be talking about the FB-22, a secretive concept that could have become one of the most capable stealth bombers ever designed. In the late 1990s and super early 2000s, the United States was looking to seek out another strategic bomber due to the fact that the B-1, B-52, and B-2 only had a life expectancy till 2037, and we required a new generation of bombers. The FB-22 was proposed by Lockheed Martin in the early 2000s as a strike-focused version of the F-22 Raptor. While it may have shared many systems with the F-22, the FB-22 was far more than just a fighter carrying extra bombs. Engineers planned to replace the Raptor's wing with much larger diamond-shaped delta wings. This could dramatically increase fuel capacity, giving the aircraft a combat radius estimated at around 1,600 nautical miles, more than double that of a standard F-22 Raptor. The larger airframe would also create room for much bigger internal weapon bays. Some proposals suggested that the FB-22 could carry up to 30 small-diameter bombs internally while maintaining its stealth characteristics. Unlike traditional bombers, the FB-22 would have a combined stealth, speed, and maneuverability. It was expected to cruise at supersonic speeds without afterburners, a capability known as supercruise, allowing it to reach targets faster while reducing fuel consumption. The aircraft was advised as a first day of war platform. Its mission would be penetrating heavily defended airspace, destroying radar sites, command centers, air defenses, and other high valuable targets before enemy forces could react. Because it would have used many existing F-22 components, supporters argued it could be developed faster and cheaper than creating a completely new bomber from scratch. However, the Air Force ultimately decided the concept didn't offer enough capability compared to a purpose-built next-generation bomber. Budget pressures, changing priorities, and the need for an even greater range eventually pushed the FB-22 aside. No prototype was ever constructed, and the aircraft never left the concept stage. Now, as we know, the United States ultimately did strike gold in the future bomber program, as we now have the B-21 Raider, and it is a beautiful 6th-generation bomber. However, the FB-22 is often regarded as one of the military's aviation's biggest what-ifs. A stealth bomber with fighter DNA, supersonic speed, and long-range strike capability could have created an entirely new class of combat aircraft. Instead, it became another fascinating concept that never made it off the drawing board. Obviously, in War Thunder, we're not too fond of adding vehicles that never left the drawing board. These are known as paper vehicles in War Thunder, and we actually have a lot of them. Things like the E-100, the Panther II, the Tiger II, 105, and a lot of these vehicles have since been removed from the game. However, Gaijin still has a, pretty long class of vehicles that weren't ever produced but are in the game. Things like the F-16AJ, which I have often argued that was good for the game because the F-16 was, the way that the F-16AJ was implemented was actually how it was tested for the Japanese. It was one single F-16 had some changes to be able to put the AIM-7F on the pylon. It does change the landing gear layout or whatever. And ultimately Japan never got the aircraft, but now they have the F-16AJ in War Thunder. I'm not necessarily going to say the FB-22 has a spot in War Thunder, but if we ever get to a point in the game where we're receiving paper aircraft, things like a lot of the Russian proposed 5th gen, their Chinese proposed 5th gen, 6th gen fighters, the FB-22 would be an amazing aircraft to come. Ultimately speaking, a lot more is known about this aircraft than some of the other paper vehicles. It had several concepts. It had several, They knew how they were going to build it. Ultimately, they ran out of budget, and they decided, the war was constantly changing. The new battle, the new fight, and it was ultimately decided that a new generation bomber, a true 6th generation bomber that was built from the ground up, which became the B-21 Raider, was the best route to go. And by 2006, the FB-22 concept was cancelled, and attention shifted fully towards what would eventually become the B-21 Raider. The aircraft was intended to be an aircraft that could strike heavily defended targets on day one of a war, opening the door for larger bombers and follow-on forces. It's easy to say that the FB-22 could have become the greatest bomber ever known to man if it had left the drawing board, and it ultimately didn't. If the FB-22 were to ever come to War Thunder, expect an aircraft that had amazing top speed for a strategic bomber, could climb incredibly high with amazing payload, and still have a lot of maneuverability similar to something like the Horten 229 we have in the German tech tree. I do not think that the FB-22 would ever come to War Thunder, but it's cool to talk about an aircraft that truly is what if. What if the United States decided that the FB-22 offered more than a next-generation bomber? Imagine Lockheed Martin pushed the aircraft a little bit harder. We could have truly had one of the coolest concept aircraft the world's ever seen, and major shame that we don't, but it is what it is. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what your thoughts are on the FB-22. Do you guys think this is an airplane that should have left the concept table and gotten added, or gotten produced in real life? And do you think this is an aircraft we could ever see in War Thunder? Ultimately, I don't think so, but it would be really cool, and you can't deny that. Please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I certainly enjoyed making it, and I will see you guys in the next one.